Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another thrilling adventure of the Shadow, that mysterious figure who fights crime from the shadows of the night. Tonight's tale takes us deep into the heart of darkness, where justice hangs by a thread and only the shadow can save an innocent man from the electric chair. So dim your lights, settle back in your favorite chair, and prepare yourself for the Death House Rescue. The story begins on a cold October evening in 1938 as storm clouds gather over the imposing walls of Sing Sing prison. Inside those forbidding walls, in a cell block known grimly as Death Row, sits Tommy Morrison, a young man of 25 whose life will end in exactly 72 hours unless a miracle occurs. Tommy has been convicted of the brutal elimination of wealthy industrialist Harold Cranston, but he maintains his innocence even as the final hours tick away. Meanwhile, in his luxurious study overlooking the Hudson River, Lamont Cranston adjusts his black slouch hat and examines the case file before him. As the Shadow, he has investigated countless crimes, but this one troubles him deeply. The evidence against Tommy Morrison seems almost too perfect, too convenient. Every clue points directly to the young man, yet something feels terribly wrong about the entire situation. The Shadow's investigation began 3 weeks earlier when Tommy's sister, Mary Morrison, a young nurse working at Metropolitan Hospital, appeared at Cranston's office with tears streaming down her face. She pleaded with him to help her brother, insisting that Tommy could never have committed such a heinous act. Mary explained that Tommy had been working late at the shipping company where he was employed as a clerk, trying to earn extra money to pay for their mother's medical treatment. On the night of the crime, Tommy claimed he was alone in the office, reviewing invoices and ledgers, but no one could verify his alibi. The Shadow's first visit to the crime scene revealed several disturbing inconsistencies. Harold Cranston's mansion, located in the exclusive Riverside Drive area, showed signs of a struggle in the library where the wealthy man's body was discovered. However, the struggle appeared staged, as if someone had deliberately overturned furniture and scattered papers to create the impression of a violent confrontation. The Shadow's keen eye noticed that the victim's expensive watch was missing, yet other valuable items, including a diamond-studded letter opener and a collection of rare coins, remained untouched. As the Shadow delved deeper into the investigation, he discovered that Harold Cranston had many enemies. The industrialist had made his fortune through ruthless business practices, forcing smaller companies out of business and leaving many families destitute. Among his victims was the Morrison family's small freight company, which Cranston had systematically destroyed 5 years earlier, leading to the financial ruin that now plagued Tommy and Mary. The Shadow's investigation led him to Vincent Marsh, Cranston's former business partner, who had been cheated out of his share of the company's profits. Marsh lived in a modest apartment in the Lower East Side, a far cry from the mansion he once owned before Cranston's betrayal. When the Shadow confronted Marsh in his dimly lit apartment, the bitter man revealed that he had been planning revenge against Cranston for years, but claimed he lacked the courage to carry out such a deed. However, the Shadow's supernatural ability to cloud men's minds and his network of agents soon uncovered a more sinister truth. Marsh had not acted alone. He had formed an alliance with Dr. Edmund Voss, a disgraced physician who had lost his medical license after Cranston exposed his illegal gambling debts. Dr. Voss possessed the medical knowledge necessary to make Cranston's demise appear to be the result of a violent struggle, while actually administering a rare poison that would cause cardiac arrest. The Shadow's investigation revealed that Marsh and Voss had carefully planned to frame Tommy Morrison for the crime. They knew about Tommy's late-night work habits and his family's financial difficulties. On the night of the planned deed, they had waited until Tommy was alone in the shipping office. Then Marsh had telephoned him with a false message claiming that Harold Cranston wanted to meet him at the mansion to discuss a potential job opportunity. Tommy, desperate for work and unaware of the trap, had rushed to the mansion where he found the front door mysteriously unlocked. Tommy entered the mansion and discovered Harold Cranston's body in the library. In his panic, he had touched several items, including the letter opener and some papers, inadvertently leaving his fingerprints at the scene. Before he could flee or call for help, the police arrived, having been summoned by an anonymous telephone call. Tommy was arrested immediately, and the circumstantial evidence against him seemed overwhelming. The Shadow realized that time was running out. With only 36 hours remaining before Tommy's scheduled execution, he needed concrete proof of the real perpetrator's guilt. Using his ability to move unseen through the shadows, the Shadow infiltrated Dr. Voss's abandoned medical office, where he discovered a hidden laboratory containing the exotic poison used to eliminate Harold Cranston. The poison, derived from a rare South American plant, was virtually undetectable in standard autopsy procedures. Meanwhile, Marsh and Voss believed they had committed the perfect crime. They had eliminated their enemy, framed an innocent man, and even managed to recover Harold Cranston's valuable watch, which they planned to sell to finance their escape from the city. However, they had underestimated the Shadow's relentless pursuit of justice. The Shadow's network of agents, including his faithful companion Margot Lane, worked tirelessly to gather evidence against the real criminals. Margot, posing as a potential buyer, arranged to meet with a fence who specialized in stolen jewelry. Through careful questioning, she learned that someone matching Dr. Voss's description had recently attempted to sell a distinctive pocket watch that matched the description of Harold Cranston's missing timepiece. With this crucial lead, the Shadow set a trap for the criminals. He had Margot contact Dr. Voss, claiming to represent a wealthy collector interested in purchasing rare medical instruments. The meeting was arranged for midnight in Voss's old office, the same location where the Shadow had discovered the poison laboratory. As Voss arrived for the supposed transaction, the Shadow emerged from the darkness, his piercing laugh echoing through the empty building. Dr. Voss, terrified by the Shadow's sudden appearance, attempted to flee, but found himself trapped in the office. The Shadow's hypnotic power compelled the frightened man to confess his role in the crime. Voss revealed that he had administered the poison to Harold Cranston, while Marsh created the false evidence to implicate Tommy. The doctor also admitted that they had kept Harold Cranston's watch as a trophy, intending to sell it once the execution had taken place and the case was closed. The Shadow then confronted Vincent Marsh at his apartment, where the bitter man was preparing to leave the city. Marsh initially denied any involvement in the crime, but the Shadow's psychological pressure and his knowledge of the facts gradually broke down the man's defenses. Marsh finally confessed that his desire for revenge against Harold Cranston had consumed him, leading him to devise the elaborate plan to frame Tommy Morrison. He had chosen Tommy specifically because of the young man's connection to the Morrison family freight company that Cranston had destroyed. With confessions from both criminals and physical evidence linking them to the crime, the Shadow raced against time to prevent Tommy Morrison's execution. The scheduled electrocution was set for dawn, less than 6 hours away. The Shadow contacted Commissioner Weston of the police department, providing him with detailed evidence of the conspiracy and the location where the real criminals could be found. However, the legal system moved slowly, and bureaucratic procedures threatened to delay Tommy's reprieve until after the execution had taken place. The Shadow realized that more direct action was required. Using his ability to cloud men's minds and move unseen, he infiltrated the death house at Sing Sing prison, where Tommy Morrison sat in his cell, writing what he believed would be his final letter to his sister Mary. The shadow appeared before the startled young man, explaining that he had uncovered the truth about Harold Cranston's demise and that the real perpetrators had been captured. Tommy wept with relief, but the shadow warned him that the legal system might not act quickly enough to prevent the execution. The shadow had one final plan to ensure that justice would prevail. As dawn approached and the prison guards prepared for the execution, the shadow had positioned himself strategically throughout the prison. Using his network of agents and his supernatural abilities, he created a series of diversions that disrupted the prison's routine. Lights flickered mysteriously, doors opened and closed without explanation, and guards reported seeing strange shadows moving through the corridors. The prison warden, a practical man who had never believed in supernatural phenomena, found himself confronting evidence that defied logical explanation. The shadow had planted documents proving Tommy Morrison's innocence in the warden's own desk, along with newspaper clippings announcing the arrest of the real criminals. The warden, faced with overwhelming evidence and the mysterious circumstances surrounding its discovery, had no choice but to halt the execution pending further investigation. As the sun rose over the prison walls, Tommy Morrison walked free, reunited with his sister Mary and cleared of all charges. Vincent Marsh and Dr. Edmund Voss were arrested and eventually convicted of Harold Cranston's elimination, receiving the justice they had tried to escape. The shadow had once again proven that crime does not pay, and that innocent people will not suffer while he watches from the darkness. The shadow's work was complete, but his vigilance never ended. As Lamont Cranston returned to his study, he reflected on the case and the importance of fighting for justice even when the odds seemed impossible. The innocent had been saved, the guilty had been punished, and the balance of justice had been restored. Tommy Morrison would have the chance to rebuild his life, and Mary Morrison's faith in her brother had been vindicated. The shadow's laugh echoed through the night as he disappeared into the darkness, ready to face whatever new challenges awaited him in his eternal battle against the forces of evil. And so ends another thrilling adventure of the shadow, that mysterious defender of justice who operates from the shadows to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. Remember, crime does not pay, and the shadow knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. Until next time, when the shadow returns with another tale of mystery and adventure, this is your narrator bidding you good night and reminding you that justice, though sometimes delayed, will always prevail in the end. The storm clouds that had gathered over Sing Sing prison at the beginning of our tale have cleared, and the dawn of a new day brings hope and redemption to those who have suffered injustice. Tommy Morrison's ordeal serves as a reminder that even in the darkest hours, when all seems lost, there are those who will fight for truth and justice. The shadow's unwavering commitment to protecting the innocent ensures that evil will never triumph over good, and that those who seek to profit from the suffering of others will ultimately face the consequences of their actions. As we conclude tonight's adventure, Let us remember that the shadow's greatest power is not his ability to cloud men's minds or move unseen through the darkness, but his unwavering dedication to justice and his refusal to allow the innocent to suffer while he has the power to help them. In a world where corruption and greed often seem to triumph, the shadow serves as a beacon of hope, reminding us that good will always find a way to overcome evil, and that justice, though sometimes delayed, will never be denied.